Hey guys, welcome back to A Story with Rory. I am your host. In this episode that I promised for tonight is the haunted hospital built in the 1930s. And yeah, this is the tour that I went through. And most of this hospital is not used, but there are a couple floors on the top that are still used to this day. However, they don't use any of the bottom floors, especially the basement, just because it's got its own set of issues. So yeah, here we go. Let's go ahead and dive into this. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video from the beginning here, and I'll just show you briefly what's going on, step by step, frame by frame, and kind of show you what's happening here. So this is when I first walk in. Um, this room was kind of weird right here, but then I leave this room and I go into this narrow room called, it was the morgue at the time, and I guess they would stack the bodies all the way up to the ceiling, um, which is kind of eerie. And that room was a little cool. Like I could feel the temperature drop at least 5 or 10 degrees. And then the third room I went in was probably something that was like a storage room for the morgue, is what I was told. And then we went down this corridor. Uh, this was the boiler room where I guess the boiler was, and they've tried to renovate it a little bit, but they really haven't done much with it apparently. Most of this stuff is still torn down, um, back from the mid 30s, and we go into this room here, and this used to be like an old like kitchen washroom type area. I'm not really sure. But at one point, the guy that was giving me the tour said that these walls would sweat with just water, but there wasn't any water on the floor. Like it wouldn't pull up. So he doesn't know how. Oh yeah, that's the rest of the kitchen there. He didn't know how the walls would just condensate like that and not have pools of water down there. So that was kind of weird. So then we kind of head our way down the corridor there, and we go into some of these rooms that they've had put stuff in for storage, but then really haven't done anything with it. Um, let's see here. We're going in now. Everything past that exit sign that you see is when things start to get a little creepy. Um, I did go in this room just to see what it was, and it was too dark in there. I couldn't see. Didn't have my light on then. But everything past this exit sign is, yeah, it kind of gives you the EBGBs. So, anyways, we go around this corner that connects to a different room, and I start feeling a little weird, but nothing really major. Um, it's when we it's when we step out of this room here and back into the corridor is when I'm just like, oh crap. So we go down the corridor and we go up one flight of stairs, and here we are. So this part of the hospital is completely sectioned off from the main part of the hospital, through the basement, actually. So the basement leads up to these 2 stories, and it's just this one half of the hospital. Um, but apparently, doctors and nurses would come up here, to perform operations, on people, and people died there, stuff like that. And then there was I guess, there's different stories of different things that happen, um, but it was like as we climbed the stairs to the next floor, it was like the stranger, um, things would get, or you would feel. It was very just eerie. Like there's no other way, no other word I can describe how it felt, other than it was just shocking. And so finally we got to the third floor, and I was just like, dude, I got to get out of here. So we go back down through the corridor there, and the temperature does drop significantly. Um, Kind of really freaky. So we head back through uh, the other side that we started from on the corridor, the hallway there. And yeah, there was an old elevator. I guess it just doesn't work anymore. But he takes me up to the top of the building that they actually still use, I guess, day to day. And at this point, it doesn't feel creepy anymore. It's kind of like almost like back to normal, sort of, so to speak. Um, However, going down these hallways um, was a little bit scary. I don't know why. It was just maybe because he kind of, I guess my guide that I had, he kind of left me for a minute, and I started walking down these hallways, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of got creepy again. He did turn on the light, um, and then it didn't really change anything, but finally I got a flashlight that I had to borrow just so I could kind of see what was what. But yeah, I mean, this part wasn't too bad. I mean, there was some relief from where we were at earlier, but man, I tell you what, I was cringing. Like I was just kind of like, get me out of here. I was not was not digging the vibe that I was getting, so to speak. So we make it. Um, I think this is the second floor, I believe, and these offices are used daily, but there are reports of things happening, like things getting misplaced, and you know, yeah, there's me. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I couldn't believe this is going on. Like, wow. But we go up to the third floor, and I'm just shining my light down the hallway here, and this bathroom on the right, this men's bathroom. I don't know what it was, but I instantly got chills just being right there in that very spot. I don't know what it was, but as soon as I came up to that bathroom little opening there for the door, I was just like, turn around. So I turned around, went to the other side, and didn't really feel anything over there. So now we're outside on a different building. Um, this was an old boys' dormitory um, from, yeah, around the same time, 1930s, 1940s. So this room right here, I'm going to pause it. This room right here, um, I was actually told by my guide that you cannot hear any echoes, anything. Like there's no noise down there, nothing. Like it is completely silent. And I'm like, yeah, right. So I kind of went down there real quick, and I was like, kind of like, hey, see if I could hear an echo, and nothing. Like it was completely still, like uh, like one of those like silent chamber deals that you can get in the isolation booths, whatever, like recording studios have. It was like that, but worse. I mean, I could literally poke my head in there, and it was just like dead still. And then I could come out of there, and it was like I could hear background noise from, crickets and frogs. But it was like as soon as I put my head through there, it was just like completely silent. Like it was really freaky. And so um, I kind of look around, and I'm just trying to see what's what. And he said I could go down there, and I was just like, yeah, maybe not. Let's say we did, because it was spooky. Apparently, two boys had hung themselves, like in the early 30s, and I guess the boys that were rooming there for room and board at the school, um, were terrorized by the ghost of those two kids. So that's the main story on this building here. But I looked through another couple windows. I couldn't really see a whole lot, but we ended up kind of walking around that building a little bit more. But man, they had their names like engraved into the stone of that building, and I was just like, to be like, hey, we were here, like one of those type deals, like to always be remembered or whatever. But man, just the vibe um, from that dormitory house, it was just, oh man, it was, I don't know, it was jacked up. But yeah, I think that was the end of the tour. That was the second building that we walked around, and I guess I could have gone inside, but I was just, mm-mm, mm. No, like it was one thing just being told about it, and it's a completely different thing seeing it firsthand. It was very freaky, but anywho, that's the haunted hospital and technically the haunted boys' dormitory there. Been around since the 1930s. I think that's when they were both built, and they both have major, major, major history with them. Um, Cannot disclose where they are at, but I'll tell you what, it was definitely a sight to see, and it was something pretty freaky. So yeah, on that note, that really concludes our show tonight with the haunted hospital. And be safe, guys. And thanks again for watching A Story with Rory. And until then, we're out.